You know, no matter what kind of work you do, there's something about connection that's just invaluable. We all know the world runs on collaboration.
Donna and I are incredibly lucky to get the perspectives of creatives from various life paths all across the globe. And being the giant data nerds and people enthusiasts we are, it was only inevitable that we started noticing patterns. There's something about the way that creatives move and the world responds. A magic. It's a kind of spark that's not always easy to define, but everybody seems to just know it when they feel it. That magic is inside all of us.
At Berklee, we know that being a musician, any kind of artist, isn't just a job. It's like a way of life. It shapes how we move through the world. A way we've come to understand this is through recognizing that artists have a foundational understanding and grounding in receiving feedback. Do you remember the first time they made sound with your instrument? Or maybe took a swing at writing or dancing? That rush of feeling your own energy, your own expression come to life.
Oh, it's like the lights could finally come on. Everything's connected. What's in here is out there. And you're like, this doesn't sound like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. How can I make it better?
That right there, that's the birth of your first feedback loop. The conversation between you, the artist,
putting yourself out there,
and the critic inside your head, maybe cheering you on,
maybe being a judgy pants. That back and forth, the call and response, is a foundational tool for how we learn our craft. Artists are trained to listen, ask, how can I make this better, and reflect on the response. And then what do we do with it?
We need others.
Right, of course. It doesn't take long before we start looking for others because, well, I can give myself amazing feedback. Like, that was great, thank you.
We love a healthy self-talk.
But we only know what we know. We need teachers, mentors, and peers all practicing together, celebrating when we can get through that phrase in one breath, or get that cue approved on version 1, and coming alongside because we all know exactly what it feels like to not get the call back. Musicians are trained to actively listen to all the sounds around them so that we can make music together in time, tune, and expression. As duets, bands, orchestras, and congregations, we take individual expression and blend it into community movement.
So now it's like a group project working on your craft, with many voices that listen and respond with their thoughts. It unlocks a continuous cycle of listen, feedback, and refining. We listen, we practice, and we show up again to hear more feedback. With each critique, we unlock new techniques, new textures, and on very special days, even a touch of validation.
Oh, we're hooked.
Sure, there's a little bit of discomfort when feedback doesn't go our way. But oh, that sweet, sweet sound of applause. Yeah,
okay.
Right. It's a choice to open up to the magic of call and response, to feel for the seeds of insight and feedback and nurture what sounds aligned with how you want your own artistic voice and vision.
And artists know that is a position of vulnerability, yet we choose to be seen. We put out the call knowing that there will be a response.
And it may not be applause. It may contain in it some dissonance.
But artists learn that being open to the perspectives of others makes the craft better. It's foundational to how we learn here at Berklee. It's why we put our art on the stage, for feedback.
This is the choice that we make, to surrender our right to comfort in service of connection.
Feedback is an artist's bridge to get in tune and connect with the world. You could say it's our area of expertise. I mean, we know how to move an audience, but it doesn't just go away when the set's over, you know? It stays with us. It's a part of us. We use this practice as a gateway to find deeper meaning, deeper introspection, and deeper connection throughout all areas of our lives.
Now, I want to talk a bit about that dissonance. Google says that dissonance is a musical technique that creates tension and an uneasy feeling in the listener. As musicians, we know that dissonance is not our enemy. It's easier to sit in consonance when things are clear and harmonious, comfy. But it is with the gentle pain of dissonance that we infuse our human experience, our human emotion, into music. We use tension to take us on a journey. Sometimes it's just a moment of discomfort.
Sometimes it's an abrupt change.
And sometimes it goes on so long you don't even remember where you started, and you're not sure where you're going, and you feel lost, and you're just really unsure where it's all going to go until then you know. There's dissonance in music, and there's dissonance in the practice of feedback. Some find dissonance incredibly hard to contend with. We all have our limits. Maybe it's that we can't feel that resolution waiting right on the other side of that next phrase. Maybe no amount of resolution, no sweet resolution is worth us sitting in all that dissonance.
But we know that feedback is how we grow. It's what fuels our learning.
Wherever we find feedback, our creativity activates, as long as we keep our defensiveness in check.
Oh, right, like in collaboration. When was the last time you collaborated on a project? Was there maybe some conflicting ideas? As a composer for film and TV, it's not really a secret that the Hollywood creative process can have a lot of dissonance. But it's weirdly foundational. It's an energizing challenge to build bridges when what you mostly see are walls of hot rage of why don't you just understand? This is what I gave you. Don't you like it? You should like it. But I get a note that says, oh no, we're not feeling it. I can't just let go. I have to lean in. I want to make my music connect. So I check that defensiveness and try again. And it works. That openness to have another go, to see what that shows us. Oftentimes we even go back to the first version because we found deeper connection through feedback. No matter where we end up as artists, whether it's hospital administrators, songwriters, tour managers, or campaign managers in the for-profit or nonprofit, we rely on our feedback practice to let us know how we're doing. This is the magic. Our artistry as creative professionals, wherever the journey takes us. And we persist. Have artistry, we'll travel. Okay, this is lovely. Positive, feedback good. I am a magical unicorn, empowered. But not all feedback is helpful or even relevant. As we grow as human beings and develop professionally, the more discerning our intrinsic feedback loop. I'm sure you can remember a time as you developed your craft that, you started having your own opinions about your own artistic expression. There's the internal and the external, and not everything being offered really aligns with your artistic voice.
Facts. Story time. I was hanging with a friend and their family once, and I did that thing that we do, where you're so with yourself that you don't even remember that other people exist, never mind that they can hear you. And I was singing to myself softly, "Send in the clowns." I was an intense child. I didn't even finish the phrase. I had added a little touch of embellishment, nothing crazy, just some flair. But their mom's voice crashed into my psyche, ripped me from my piece, and said, "Ugh, well, now you've ruined it." Ruined it. Okay. Did I nurture that insight? No. That feedback did not serve me. Instead, that moment taught me three things. One, people will give you feedback whether you ask for it or not. Two, there are people who believe that every version of Send in the Clown should sound exactly the same, exactly as it's been written on the page forever and ever until the end of time. They are not my audience. And three, and this is the best part, we get to decide what we take in and what we don't. Growing as a person, as an artist, means choosing what we embrace and what we let go of. There is no one right way to be or do anything.
The more people we connect with within and beyond our community, the more certain I am that this is so foundational. There's no one right way. You can't copy-paste somebody else's success. Everybody's story looks different, and everybody chooses and shapes their own path.
Our choices define us. Being open to different perspectives gives you more awareness of all the choices available to you, yes, but ultimately it's up to us to decide what we let in, what we don't, and how we grow.
And we're not the first people to stand in front of a group of artists and say, "That's hard." It's hard to keep that bridge open. Connection is a lot to feel. It's hard to decide to try. It's hard to be seen. It's hard to sit with the knowledge that you didn't. There was more you could have done. I want to offer a grounding that Donna has taught me. Choose your hard.
In community-centric work, in all our work, arguably all of our lives, there are challenging conversations to be had. When voices clash, we can return to what shaped us. What elements in this dissonance can carry us forward? Where can it take us? Where do we even want to go? It's not easy. That's why we practice.
Growth isn't about perfection. It's about moving forward.
Often when I speak about feedback, I get comments like, things are changing so fast, we can't keep up. We can't do everything all at once. We can't make everyone happy. And they're right. You can't. Someone is going to think that you ruined Send in the Clowns.
Really hear that fear of making a mistake, right? The fear of not being good enough. But feedback is not a game that we're trying to win. It's a way to learn, to engage, and move forward.
Do you know what I really hear in all of that? Perfectionism, the arch enemy of all artists. Perfectionism is the death of creativity, of curiosity. It's our curiosity that guides us forward. It's the part of us that thought, these stars aren't quite twinkling just yet, and listened for the changes that could be made and tried again.
It's in our nature to keep growing, but it is not always comfortable. We have to hold on to our own sense of self-worth so that when the feedback comes, whether good or bad, it doesn't shake you. You also have to know that your creativity is enough, that with each note, each brushstroke, each word, you're putting something meaningful out into the world. Sometimes it can be so challenging to sit in the discomfort that we can't see or feel the potential of the changes to come. That's why I know that these conversations like we're having here today are so important. To truly connect to our human experience, our human emotion, to find the fullest expression of our artistry, we have to be comfortable with the dissonance because it's part of our stories.
To weave a balanced story of our consonance while honoring the dissonance that defines us is the artist's way. Even if we just talk about music, we cannot talk about jazz, blues, rock, gospel, arguably most of our modern genres, without talking about why folks felt compelled to express the experiences contained within. We do ourselves and the song a disservice if we don't think about what kind of change Sam Cooke was talking about. Embracing our full context and our dissonance empowers us to create profound movements, to lean into a progression of changes with our centers aligned toward a resolution.
That's why I feel blessed to be a musician, to have had this training. Our ears know that no matter how long we may swim in the dissonance or how unexpected the change, we know there's a way forward to consonance. It's what makes it a journey to experience.
Sometimes it takes a lot of notes.
Sometimes we have to take it step by step.
But we will always have those steps. They will always be there. We can make of them what we will. We're not going to be perfect.
Right. We really aren't.
Ever.
No.
Just now.
Just
not
now.
Perfect.
We're not perfect. But that's not really the goal, right? I think we've all learned, I know I certainly did, that being the most virtuosic instrumentalist didn't keep me sustained. Artistry provided a deeper connection to my lived experience. Connection is the goal.
We will be uncomfortable sometimes. We will get defensive, more often than we like to admit. And we may forever battle that perfectionist inside of us.
That's why I don't do any of this alone. We're on the stage together for a reason. It's part of our practice. Learned from many alumni before and alongside us that we need others, a community, a village, so that when the feedback comes, there's something there to keep you tethered to your home key. And when you forget what your core artistic voice is, they'll remind you. Donna does it for me all the time. Unbalanced harmony can be resolved or balanced with just an additional note. Our collaboration and our connection keeps us grounded in an otherwise chaotic world.
This practice of feedback and embracing it and the connection that follows grounds us like a bridge, helping us to connect outside of ourselves. We listen, we receive, and we respond, co-creating a shared theme. And each time we do, we add a little bit more harmony to the dissonance of our world.
We know the tension can be resolved.
That the sharp notes are part of the fullness of our expression.
And the world would be kind of boring with just major chords.
I wish for all of us the capacity to sit with our discomfort, with our own dissonance. It's there that we'll find deeper meaning, deeper introspection, and if we work at it, deeper connection.
This is the magic of creative artists. Magic we've already spent years learning. Magic that you have. We are invested in the call and response of a life committed to growth and transformation.
And it's worth it. Connection is worth it. This is our call. And if you disagree, well, we welcome your feedback. Thank you.